All right, so start. Don't go all the way back. Like I was saying, just
Happy Easter.
kind of jump in like where you were. Oh yeah, happy Easter too.
Happy Easter, everybody.
We got
It's
live.
Easter Sunday.
Welcome to the Faded Podcast. Hectic and chill. Easter Sunday. God is risen. Christ is here. He
Yes.
is risen. He is alive.
Yes,
I
yes.
thank God for that because without it, all of this would be for nothing, right? Airplane passing overhead.
Facts.
Go ahead and share what you were sharing with me because it's good to hear. I want to hear. I want people to hear what you're talking about.
Yeah, so basically I've been on for a few days and I was on TV and I came up I came up uh on A&E.
Hmm.
It's a WWE Legends biography. It's and
Correct.
each episode is about different wrestlers, back in the day legends. Um
Right.
and they had a few of them. A lot of them I noticed, like, you know they uh they became all famous, and when you become famous, it's life gets a little hard and people go down dark paths.
Yeah.
And I noticed a few of them, they turned to God at the end. um and things like that, it makes me happy, because I've grown up to wrestling, and
Hmm.
I consider all these people my heroes. And it's very sad to see, you know these people that back in the day, you they were like real life superheroes. That's how I saw them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just to to see them go down this dark path, and some of them made it, some of them did. And it's very 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 sad. I actually cried like twice. It was really, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean, like. But long story short, there was a few people that at the end, they turned their life around. They got clean, and you know they gave their life to God and Jesus, and and they're living out the rest of their lives, doing so.
Hmm.
um but there was one that got me. And it's crazy because, like, when I saw it and I heard it, I rewound it like three times. I was like, what? Because it like mind boggled me.
Right.
So it's this is one has to do with Roddy Piper. And the thing about Roddy Piper is, he died. So he died. He passed away a couple years ago,
Hmm.
at the age of
Okay.
61.
Mm.
And as a kid, he had a very hard life. He was homeless at an early age, and him being homeless led him down this dark path of you know going out robbing people. But he did this, which I'm not saying it's right, but he did this to survive. So you know what I
Hmm.
mean.
Yeah.
It's kind of those where
Like
it's a hard, that's like a hard place to
like a
be.
lose lose kind of
Right,
situation.
right.
Right.
Um, but
Right.
then he got introduced to wrestling, and you can tell that that life that he used to live, he didn't like it. He didn't really want to do it. He just did it to survive. But once he got into wrestling, he hadn't had to do all that because wrestling changed him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
long story short, I'm just gonna give you the real quick story. He After when he got into wrestling, that was his life. Like, he started a family and
Mhm.
everything, and he wasn't really there for his family just because of wrestling. Because of wrestling, especially when you're a person that's very high up there in the wrestling business.
Yeah. You're famous. Yeah.
Right. When the more famous you are, the more you have to travel and be out there. And wrestlers, that
Hmm.
they're out how many days in a year? 365.
Yeah.
They're out
They don't have.
320. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, they have families, and they miss out on a lot of things. But I
Mm.
noticed about him was, when he when he when he wasn't with his family, it was a long time. You know what I mean? He wasn't there. But when he was with his family, he was with his family.
Mm,
You
okay.
know, he did stuff. Like he went out, and his children like remember all that.
Uh,
And he was a good person, which is kind of crazy because in the wrestling world, he was a villain,
right. Yeah.
and he was so and it's crazy because he was so good as a villain, and people didn't realize that he's like his wife was saying like the sweetest guy. Like he'll do anything for anybody. He'll give you the shirt off his back.
Wow.
But he was so good at his job, fam. He got stabbed 4 times by fans. He
Wow.
got he got stabbed 4 times.
What?
It got to the point where he had this leather jacket that he wore. He
Yeah.
had to get it. Uh, he had to laminate it. Is that what it's called?
Altered.
Yeah, he had to get it like stab proof. So if somebody tried to stab him, it wouldn't go through.
Oh, so they.
Yeah,
Wow. That's wild.
yeah. It was a story that one of the wrestlers told him. He was one of the wrestlers told in the biography. He was like,
Mm.
"Yo, one time he got into it with a fan, and the fan stabbed him, and the cop came, separated it. And the fan left. He ran out, but he noticed he was like, he went to the cop went to Roddy Piper. He was like, "What happened?" He was like, "Well, this fan he stabbed me." And he was like, "Let me see,"
Mm.
and he was holding the wound, but once he let go of the wound, the blood started squirting on the cop. So they had to rush him to
Oh.
the hospital, and of course, he was fine. But
Yeah.
and yo, it was crazy
Wow.
stuff. Like he had to like he kept his wrestling career and his family separated. Like his family never went to a match. They never went to
Yeah, because they,
because he
man, if they're stabbing him,
right like the
that's
where
wild, man.
yeah like where they lived. He lived like in a farm where nobody was around. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was very
Yeah,
segregated.
you
Like
kind of have to.
like he had to do that. Long story short, he
Mm.
dies. Right? He
Mhm.
dies. He was at home one day. He died in his sleep next to his wife.
Mm.
The next day, he just, you know what I mean? He just didn't wake up.
There we go.
So I'm sitting there. Tears is coming down my eyes, and Hulk Hogan comes up. He's like, "Yo," so it was crazy because he died, and then I think he said a day later or 2 days later, he got a message from him. This is after he died. So Hulk Hogan's like, I don't know if like maybe I was in a place where it wasn't no signal or something, and you know how that happens. Like and then once you go
Hmm.
once you come back, it's a you get your signal back, and then you get the message, you read it. And I was like, yeah, yeah,
That's
maybe
wild.
that happened, but it
Yeah,
was the message, it was the actual message that got me.
it was the
What
type of
he said
right.
in
Okay.
the message, I got it right here. I
Okay.
got it right here. Can I play
Uh,
it? I'm gonna play it.
yeah. Yeah. Go
All right, all
ahead.
right.
The news came that you passed away,
Can you hear it?
and I
Hmm.
felt like I got shot in the chest with a can. And it kind of like knocked me off track for a couple of days.
This is
And
Hulk Hogan.
now all of a sudden I get this voice message. It was really weird because even my phone was messed up. Sometimes you'll get a text message at night when it's sent to you in the morning. Walking with Jesus today, my brother. Walking with Jesus. Loving you and praying for you. It really just spooked me out, like alien thing, like Close Encounters was a super crazy voice message from somebody after they passed away, and for especially them to say, "I'm loving you and walking with Jesus, my brother." Just loving you and walking with Jesus. I was like, wow, totally screwed me up.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah,
That's
that's
crazy.
wild, man.
That's crazy.
That's wild. That is
I sat there.
wild.
I was like, what? Wait a
To
minute.
have that and to have yeah to have that happen, like you already know the man's gone, and you know he's not
I'm
like
like, what?
in the world. He's not sending any Texas, and then to get this message and then what's in the message is even wilder. That's
Fam, I'm
crazy,
sitting there
man.
like, yo, fam, literally a tear came down my eye. I was like, what?
That's
I'm like,
wild.
yo, that's crazy.
That's wild.
That's crazy. And it made me happy.
Yeah.
that made me happy. Like I was really, really happy about that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I believe he's with Jesus and he's up there.
Yeah.
I believe it. So yeah, that mind boggled me, man. That mind boggled me. And also to hear a lot of these wrestlers turning to the faith. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And
That's awesome.
yeah, it's just a beautiful thing, man. It's just a beautiful thing. Um and I feel really bad about the people who didn't make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so and I do hope they're in a better place.
Truth.
I pray for that. Because these are people that I it's crazy how you could love somebody you don't even know them. You never met them.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That you grew up with.
Yeah.
You know?
They don't know me. Like you know what I mean? Like they don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Expect you know me. They don't know me. But I've been
Mhm.
watching them since I was a little kid. Like they I could honestly say if I wasn't into wrestling, it would not have changed the way I grew up because I think I had a great life.
Mhm.
I'm glad I was born in the '80s. I think that was a gift from God.
Mhm.
I think he knew I would
Yeah. It's a
enjoy
good time.
yes everything about it: music,
Yeah.
games,
Mm-hmm.
movies, shows,
Yeah.
wrestling. It was
Yeah.
fantastic, and
And the
and
cartoons too.
yeah,
Yeah. All of
yeah,
it. Really.
it was fantastic, and
It's a really good time.
I'm glad and I'm honored that I was born at that time and I was able to sit here and witness these great things that happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Yeah.
that was part of my childhood was wrestling.
Mhm.
I was there in the golden era. I was there in the superstar era. I was there in the attitude era.
Mhm.
So yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, but that was very very, and it's funny because like for some, I feel like everything always leads me to God, to Jesus,
Mhm.
because I'm watching wrestling. Like you wouldn't compare wrestling
Right.
with
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
wouldn't compare wrestling.
So,
You wouldn't
yeah.
put
With
those two
religion.
categories in the same thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Right.
watching something from wrestling,
Mhm.
but
Right. Yeah. That's
so
how it is.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to share that
Because
story
we
because that was
a
very
lot of people don't really see. I mean, they're the superstars and celebrities. They're if you took the job away, they'd be us.
yeah. They're us. Yeah.
Like
Yep.
if you took what they do for money away, they would be us.
Exactly.
They'd be out here, scrambling and working, and they'd have off time. They, lives, families. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's sometimes people forget that. Sometimes people forget that this person, like you said, he might be a villain, on wrestling, but in real life, he's probably one of the nicest people you'd ever meet.
Right.
Probably
Exactly.
help you change your car tire or something. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
I've always pictured that because like I've seen him like do interviews and he's always been a nice person. You know what I mean? You know,
yeah,
and watching this documentary on him, this biography on him, it I learned a lot. I've seen, you know what I mean? And I'm
hmm
a person I like I can kind of like feel the vibe of people and know if they're
legit or not. Yeah,
right. Like don't get me wrong,
yeah.
I'm not 100% on it. There's been times I've been wrong,
Mhm.
but for the most part,
It's, the-
I can kind of see and be like, yeah, I don't think I want to hang out with you.
it's discernment.
Yeah,
That's not the word. It's just having discernment.
yeah,
It's, spirit of discernment. Holy Spirit will tell you. He'll give you ideas. He'll give you inklings towards who's up and who's not being honest and truthful with you.
right.
That's kind of the a part of the package that we get being children of God. So most definitely.
It's funny.
But yeah, man,
I
it's a
still
dope
get
story.
goosebumps hearing that.
Yeah,
He said,
absolutely.
he said, I see the light, walking with God, praying for you, love you. I was like, oh man, let's go.
that would have that kind of message, especially after he died. That kind of message would make me, it would make my heart have some sort of posture towards it. Like it would make me want to stop for a minute and reflect on like where I'm at and what I'm doing.
Right.
So I'm hoping that he did, in that moment. Do you know if he's saved or not, Hulk Hogan?
Okay. So I okay. So I'm a very observant person. So
Hmm.
when he was talking about that, when he was talking
Yeah.
about Roddy Piper, you can tell because he was like, I don't know if it was an alien encounter or F UFO. I'm like, come on, fam. He just told you what was going on. He
Right.
just
Yeah.
told you he was
He
walking
he
with
just
Jesus,
handed it to you. He handed it to
and
you,
but
and you and you dropped it.
right, right.
Okay.
But then like
Yeah. Yeah.
I seen something with him because they had one about him and then they had one about NWO,
Right.
and he had a shirt on that said John 3:16, and then about it said something else and then it said believe, and then he had a cross. So I don't know. Maybe,
Well, maybe that probably was made afterwards.
maybe,
Because for him to give the idea that it's something super out of this world and UFOs and aliens, for him to even make that comment even after he said the name of Jesus is kind of like that's kind of a big giveaway that he didn't fully catch it at the time,
maybe,
but
maybe.
maybe afterwards that was the thing that you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Maybe that was a part of it.
yeah.
We just pray for him, man.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
I'm hoping.
most definitely. Because I love
You
Hulk
know what I'm
Hogan.
saying?
He's another one I grew up to.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
yeah.
So
Hulk Hogan, man.
yeah,
Every day on TV.
it's good to hear that
You know,
Shawn Michaels is saved.
right?
Like he's saved. He
Yeah.
says it. Like I seen his
Yeah, no,
autobiography,
no. I've seen,
and he
yeah,
said it.
I've seen clips of
Yeah, like
him
at the end of it
talking about
when they
that.
show him changing, and he gave up the
Yeah,
drugs and he gave up everything because his wife was the one that was praying for him because his wife was
that's awesome.
Christian.
That's
And then
awesome.
once he got saved, she was like, I was praying. She told him she was like, look, I was praying for you, but I didn't want to. She was like, the way you were,
Over it.
I didn't want to come at you with it because I knew you would turn me down. So I just prayed,
Just,
and then he ended
yeah,
up. Yeah, he
just
ended
said
up.
it.
He went to.
Listen,
It was crazy. He went. So he said, you know what? I'm done. He went to a church. He was like, I need help, and they had the pastor on there talking. He
mm,
was like, he was like, can somebody? I need help. He was like, I could. The guy came out. He's like, I can help you. And then they talked, and then the pastor said, can I pray for you? And he said yes. And then once he started praying for him, the pastor said he was just crying.
yeah,
He was like, it was just tears coming down his eyes after when I started
yeah.
praying for him. And
It was time.
yeah, and then from there, yeah, he went back to his wife. He was like, "Yo, I went to church. Da da da. I got a Bible." She was like, "I was praying for you, man, the whole time. I was praying for you the whole time." So
Yeah.
yeah, he's good. He's good. And it's funny
She.
there was an interview that
Good.
Stone Cold was doing to the Undertaker. He was doing an
Mm-hmm.
interview, and they were talking about Shawn Michaels, and he was like, in the beginning, I didn't care for Shawn. I didn't like him. He said, but
Mm,
once he changed his life around, he got saved. He's a totally he's a totally different person. He's one of my favorite people to talk to, one of my people to work with, and we're friends
mm.
to this day
See.
because they wasn't in
Yeah.
the beginning. they were not
Right.
they were not friends in the beginning.
Right.
And Stone Cold he was like, yep, I agree with you. I was the same way. I was the same way. So
That's pretty dope, man.
yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
I'm sitting up here talking. I'm sitting up here talking, and my mic isn't even plugged in
Oh, I can hear you.
now. But I think it's a lot more. I think the computer itself was getting me.
Oh, okay.
That's I just got a phone call. Okay, so but yeah, that's dope. Like you were saying that his wife, she came out to him and said that she had been praying because
Yep.
situations like that, they're rough, man. When you marry somebody who's not a believer, you put yourself in a really tough spot.
Yeah.
Like you may love that person, but you put yourself in a, because as a believer, the word tells us that we are not to marry and be unequally yoked is what it's called. So the idea is, think of, I think of when oxen and cattle like plow a field, they usually put them side by side and they strap the plow to them. That thing around their neck, that big wooden thing,
Yeah.
that's the yoke.
Mm.
That's what that is. So it goes around their necks and their bodies are on the other end of it. And they use their full body weight to pull this thing. And to be unequally yoked in biblical terms with that image in mind is one animal doing the majority of the work and the other one is just kind of coasting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when you have a situation like that and you're a believer and you are believing for both of you and the other person is just out doing whatever, it's an unbalance. And
Yeah.
that's really how you have to see it, because one of you is going to be praying and you're going to be fighting for each other, fighting for the marriage, and then the other one is free to just be loose. So they could be on a good day they could be with you, on a bad day they could be against you.
Right.
And that could sow all kind of discord in a marriage, that could set all kind of things you know on its side. And it's just by the grace of God that he came around and
I,
was with her. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's also like you're taking a chance on that person.
True. That's
Uh,
a huge
you know what I mean?
chance. Yeah,
That's a chance. That to me that's love.
it is
That's
love.
that's that's love. That's
It
love
is
because
love.
her as a Christian. I'm pretty sure she knew what she was getting herself into. She knew who she was marrying. Um, yeah, and by the grace of God, he changed. He
Because
changed.
that, man, I'm telling you, the word is it gives us caution on stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you get into a situation like that and you're in love with somebody who's not biblical, the Bible warns you like, hey, don't do this, because um, you could be unequally yoked and it's not good for the marriage. It's
Right.
not good because once you start having kids and you start having financial things go on, like you'll be pulling in one direction and your spouse will be pulling in another, and it'll just sow discord between you, and that's not good. Then when there was a verse that I was gonna bring up. Um, there's a dog upstairs. There was a verse I was gonna bring up, but I forgot it. But yeah, you to be unequally yoked with somebody is tough. It's
Oh, it's
definitely
tough.
tough, and
I'm,
it's
I'm pretty.
it's
I'm pretty sure she went through some things,
she probably did.
but
You know what I'm saying?
as a wife, she
She
did.
held it down.
Yeah, she did what a wife is supposed, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
Not
once
not
you're
just as a
in this
wife, as a
situation.
husband, because it could be
Yeah,
vice versa. It could be vice
yeah,
versa.
yeah.
So you're
And the
supposed to
Bible
stay there
tells
and
you
stick with them.
like
Yeah.
once you're in that situation, as long as they're not going all outside of bounds and doing all kind of like as long as they're not hurting you or cutting you or something weird like that, you're supposed to continue to pray for them and continue to go about God's business. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you keep going forward, and whatever the work the Lord is doing in that person's heart, you pray for it to come to fruition. Like you pray for it to come to its finale, so that that person can finally be saved. But always remember that good company or bad company corrupts good morals. So being in a situation like that, you have to be careful, because one or the other is going to win. There's two opposing forces in this marriage at that point. There's God on one side and there's them on the other. So either the Lord, either the Lord calls them and they come over, or you end up going over. So you, as a Christian, you gotta be careful, which is why there's warnings in the Bible about it. And oh yeah, thank God.
Yeah, yeah, for
God is
real.
good, man. God is good because
That
it
is good.
it could have been the opposite, and he could have pulled her in the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? And we probably wouldn't be hearing this story. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure if Shawn Michaels by now, he would have died.
Yeah,
If
because
he would have.
he used to be real wild back in the day.
No, he was wild to the point where they couldn't nobody could deal with him.
Jeez.
And another person who helped him out a lot, and he said it. Shawn Michaels said it was Triple H.
Oh,
Like Triple H was the only person that would not give up on him. They will fight and he will come back and be like, "Yo, I'm sorry." He's like, "Under the bridge. Let's keep it moving." And then they will go, and then he'll mess up again, and then Triple H just be like, "All right, kid, you wildin'. I'm not messing with you." And then Shawn Michaels will come back and be like, "I'm sorry. No worries. Let's go." You know what I'm saying? Like he was another person who didn't give up on him,
man!
and,
Once
and,
you've
and
been
stuff like
out
that
there,
helps.
yeah. Once you've been out there, it's like God can't be worse than what I've experienced. So you
Yeah,
try. You know,
yeah,
you open yourself up to the Lord, and you see that okay, I was doing something extra. I was on some extra stuff.
yeah, yeah. Most definitely.
It's
I,
not
I feel
just you it's not just you living and being because people have a tendency to believe like oh I don't need religion and I don't need God, and then they go out and they live their life, and it's like you're living your life, but you're not where he was seeing that darker side of everything, like he was really seeing it. So the opposite of that coin would be for him coming to Christ, like direct change. And for him, thank God that he found that change, and thank God that he got it. You know what I'm saying? Because some people you can live a normal, you really could live a normal life and not hear about Jesus and not care. You could be one of those people who do that. You
but
really
but
could.
deep down inside, it's there because that's
It's
why you
definitely there.
that's
It's,
why you that's
it's
why it's
always been
just
there.
right. It's just that you don't see it.
You
It's like
choose to
people.
ignore it. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
like
You suppress those things. Like
yeah.
those
It's like
things are
people. It's
pushed
like
down.
people. It's like people now. Like they're deep down. I feel like people are depressed. It's just you've been so used to it. You've been depressed so
Mm,
long. It's normal to you,
mm, yeah.
and you don't realize that. And I'm telling these people from experience. You don't realize that until once you have Jesus, He shows you.
Yeah, it's just different.
He just it's there.
It's
Yeah,
it's really hard to
he
explain,
just
but it's
shows you.
just it's
Yeah,
it's a different life.
it is.
You
It is.
even when you're not in one of those moments, like as a Christian, you're kind of always thinking about God because it's just something heavy on your mind. But like when you're pumping gas or something, and you're just kind of standing there waiting for your tank to go to whatever you paid, and it's like you're having just random thoughts, like regular day thoughts. You you are still like it's still such a huge difference than waking up under your own steam. You know what I'm saying? Like taking the
Yeah.
world on by yourself. It's still different. It's still like a huge difference, and it's just something that you feel on the inside.
Right.
Like a weight has been lifted off because you're not expected to do everything on your own. You're not expected to have it all together. You're not expected to, you know what I mean? Like we have God, and God,
But that.
like he's the one that says, "Don't worry, I got you." Like don't
But
think
see,
about tomorrow.
society doesn't
Tomorrow will
teach us
handle it.
that.
So no, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
And as
Like this
believers, we
world
should be
doesn't
out
do it.
there. We should share this in conversation. Like, yo, that's not how God operates. Like,
Yeah, like
yo,
independent, like being independent, and I do this on my own, and I'm a female, and
oh
I'm
yeah,
strong, and
yeah.
I'm this, and I'm
Oh
like, what are
yeah,
you talking about?
it's fine. Absolutely fine. You can be strong. You can be strong. You can do this. You can do that. But God set it up so that you don't have to do that stuff. Like you do that because you want to. God set it up so that you can have the help that you need. You have like there's a partner out there. If you're looking for somebody to back you up, like God will have you. I'm not talking about like a spouse. Like most people be like, oh, I don't need to be married. Okay, cool. You don't got to get married. Just cling to Jesus. When you're out there running and doing your thing and making your moves, take him with you. Let him lead. And it's a difference between you leading yourself and him leading the situation. You step away and like, Lord, come with me. Like, go with me. This is a huge deal. Like, I need you to be with me. And God, taking the steps with you versus you going, I don't know what I'm going to do when I walk in here. I don't know how this is going to play out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's two totally different feelings. It's two totally different feelings. I find myself as a Christian now not really worried. I know the world is going to go to ruin. I already know that. The word already tells us that the world is up to no good. So I already know the world is going to go to ruin. And when something happens, I pray about it. A news headline comes across my phone. Oh, this and this just happened. I pray about it. Oh, Lord, be with their family.
It's God's fault.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, that's what people do. That's the first thing people do.
That's the first thing
people do. And don't let it be one of those situations where nobody's brought up God yet because a Christian hasn't hit the chat yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, Christian hasn't walked into the room and said anything, and you be the first one, and you say, "Man, God is good." Oh, here you go, bro. And then people just start going in. But in all honesty, it's like God's not doing this. God would prosper if every human being on the planet was Christian, God would prosper all of us.
Yeah.
If every human, hypothetically, if every human being was to get saved, God would prosper all of us. He would put us all forward. Because that's the kind of father type he is. Like, that's the kind of being that he is. He wants his children, his creations, to succeed. He wants us to do well. He wants us to enjoy the life that he gave us. You can't enjoy that always being weighed down all the time. You can't enjoy that always being worried or feeling shame. That's why he says, I'll take those things from you. Give me your worry. Give me your shame. Give me your regret. Give me your confusion. The Bible clearly says in a lot of places, especially throughout Psalms, like, yo, you need wisdom, ask for it. God will give you the wisdom to deal with whatever situation you need. He'll give it to you. He'll lead you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that he was able to finally get to a place where he saw that he needed change, and Christ was there at the door.
Yeah.
And he opened the door, and now he's inside. You know what I'm saying? So that's a beautiful thing, man. They showed a baptism. They showed a baptism on a church live today, and it was
I saw that.
Fantastic, man. It was fantastic. Like, every time somebody comes to Christ, like, heaven erupts. The angels rejoice. Every time we repent and come back and we're close to God, the angels rejoice for us. Every time somebody, like a believer, goes home to be with God, there's an uproar in heaven, and that's beautiful. That means you have all of heaven rooting for you to withstand the enemy so that you can make it home. And that to me, in all honesty, that's now what I'm living for. That has become my goal. Just to make it back to the kingdom. Like, that has become my biggest focus. So now I'm not stressed out about my job. I'm not stressed out about dating. I'm not stressed out about money. I'm not stressed out about my health. Like, there can be weird things happening in all of those categories, and I'm trying my best not to even focus and be stressed out about those things. I'm going to continue doing the right thing. I'm going to continue doing what I'm being told at my job. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to continue paying my bills, like living your life and doing the right thing you're supposed to do by companies that you owe and by people that you interact with. I'm going to do the right thing. And that allows me the freedom to not worry. If I got it, I got it to give. If I don't, I don't. I figure out a plan. We come to a conclusion. That'll be the thing. And then I let it go. I used to worry so much about my credit score and about having a decent car to drive, just one that works. You know what I'm saying? Because for a while I was getting cars and the cars weren't like lasting. And I'm not worried about any of that stuff anymore. just not like none of that
all
stuff
material
is.
things.
Yeah, it's like I used to when we were younger, man. You know this for a fact. Like we'll get the newest game, and I'll be on it all day. Like if I was off, that's what I was doing. I was either eating or gaming, and most of the time I was doing both, like simultaneously. You know what I'm saying? Like watching a movie, eating, or gaming is probably what I was doing in my younger days.
I'm
And
still doing that now.
yeah, but see, but there's a difference from now because now I don't spend 12 hours playing one game if I'm off. I have better things to do with my time. I have other stuff I want. You know what I'm saying? Other focuses. If you give anything that much of your time and it's not God, there's an issue. Like if you're sitting around, that's all you do from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. You don't crack your Bible open. You don't thank God. You don't eat. Yeah, there'd be days where I would look up and it's dark already, and I'm like, "What time is it?" And it's 10:30 at night, and I'm like, "Man, I've been sitting in this game all day. I didn't eat. I didn't use the bathroom. Like it's a bit much. That's a bit much. I don't give anything that much of my attention now, except my faith, except God. And I try to play something. I try to listen to the word if I can't read it, and I'll focus on biblical things. The Bible constantly shows and constantly teaches you to always keep your mind on heavenly things. Keep your mind upstairs and not down here where we are. And that's what I try to do. And that, like I said, it affords me the comfort of knowing that none of this stuff is eternal. And if none of it is eternal, then it can be fixed, it can be gotten rid of, right? Or you can improve it. Well, I guess that's fixed, but fixed, gotten rid of, or it doesn't matter. I'll say that. So either it's a plus, it's a negative, or it doesn't matter at all. And once I can put things in those three places and I know what they are, my stress levels have gone like way down. Just way down. I don't let any of this stuff bother me. And I think I'm getting to a point now where I just I'm not worried at all. And I thank God for it because my brain is the type of brain. I don't know how many people out there listening can identify with this, but my brain, like when you want to create stuff and you tend to think of yourself as a creator, like you have a heavy imagination and you'll sit and think constantly and your brain it kind of doesn't shut off. So sometimes I want to do stuff it'll stop me from thinking out loud, if that makes sense. Because I'm thinking in my head constantly. Oh, this. And I want to do stuff like playing a video game or playing a movie that I've already seen. I can do those and it'll shut my brain off and I won't be thinking as much. You know what I'm saying? Or at least I won't be thinking as loudly. And that'll give me some quiet time. You know what I'm saying? Because if I leave the house and go to work, my brain is always running. And it's just really difficult to turn it off. So I end up tired, way, way more tired than I usually am. But thank God, man.
I still need a little work. I still worry a little bit.
Yeah, no issues. I mean, dude, there's still things I worry about. I'm not gonna sit here in front, like,
But
yeah,
it's not. But it's not the same.
It's not.
I work like I don't really stress out. I just worry.
Yeah.
So it's not. You know what I mean? It's not to that extreme where I'm getting stressed
Right.
out. But I do think about stuff. That's just the way I am.
Yeah. There are things. No one will ever be done worrying, period. I don't think anybody on the planet will ever get to that level. But I've definitely been able to realize that whatever the situation is, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that's why. I don't you know what I mean? It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's
not.
it's a little bit. It's a little bit. Just because like I notice like I'll worry and then everything will be fine and then I'm like okay yeah you know what I mean.
Right.
I worry until I notice everything is fine and then because I don't know what's gonna happen. I think that's why I worry
Hmm.
because I don't know if this thing that I'm doing or this situation I'm in is gonna be okay.
It's gonna be good or not? Yeah.
But once it's okay, I'm like, which 95% of the time it is.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big percentage.
It is. That is a pretty big percentage.
You know what I mean? So I
Just trust.
I don't worry.
Yeah,
I
just
don't.
trust. I'm at a point now where even if it's bad, I know God's gonna be He's gonna be present. Just and that takes time. You know what I'm saying? But just trust in it. You're already seeing the fruit of it already. You said 95%. That's a huge,
Yeah, that's huge.
like you look back 95% of the time and everything turned out fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just trust in it. Just trust the process.
like right now, I was just doing some. I paid off a few bills.
Hmm.
I need to get 4 tires for my car,
Right. I'm almost there.
and I just finished fixing my car 2 weeks ago. So now I gotta buy new
Jeez.
tires, and then after that, I gotta fix. I gotta fix something else. My mechanic told me.
Mm.
But anyway, and then my mom just asked me to send her money,
Yeah.
so
Man,
I just did all that.
all of that. Yeah.
But then I'm like, dang. But then I just realized I get paid in a couple days.
There you go.
You know what I
There you
mean?
go.
So it's like
Yeah.
a worry. I worried, and then I was hey, wait a minute, and it should be a decent check. You know what I'm saying?
Good. That's good.
Like most of it, like not even half of it is gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, no, I can say half of it, and then the other half I save it,
Hmm. Man,
and
shoot.
then
I
and then the
lucked
next
out.
paycheck is mine because we get paid 3 times this week. I mean this month.
Oh, yeah. Well, shoot.
Yeah, you
I'm
see what
waiting
I'm
on
saying?
one. Yeah, I'm waiting for
So
this Friday coming up.
it's like at the moment it's like everything just
Right,
hit me.
right, right.
The
Hmm.
bills, the my car, my mom, but it's just like don't worry.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like God he he shows me that because I just see it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's just like
Yeah.
whoa, bam, 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 bam. And then the idea comes to me. Wait a minute, but you're gonna get paid in a few days, and then next paycheck is yours.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna work out.
It is.
So
It's gonna work.
basically, God is like, chill, fam.
Right.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good,
Yeah.
fam. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You good.
Yeah.
I got you. He said, you're with me now. I got you." It's like
Right.
it's like when you hang out with a rich person. Yo, you good? Yo, put your money away. I
It's
got
like,
you.
no, I got you. I got you.
Yeah, we eat here for free, baby.
Right. Yeah.
Celebrity. We eat here for
Hmm.
free, baby. Don't worry about it. Oh, this is free.
Yeah.
You want to take some home with you? Go ahead, take some home with you.
Man, thank God. Thank God that He had this plan worked out for us from the beginning,
Yeah.
sending His Son to die and whatnot. It's a heavy toll that Jesus had to endure to get this thing through. And now, because of that, we can go to God directly.
Yep.
We have a mediator who is like the middle person for us and say, "Oh no, He's with me.
I
No,
wish people would
He's in
realize
me."
that.
Like
I wish people
today's the
would realize
day, man. Like today is a huge day for Christians. Today is a huge day. Today is a huge day. We celebrate Easter on this day, and Easter for us is the day, Christ rose. And you know what? You know what I learned that Christ did? One of his first acts on today. He cooked breakfast for a few of the disciples. They cooked them breakfast.
They cooked him breakfast, or he cooked them breakfast.
He cooked them breakfast. Imagine,
Damn, fam.
right? Imagine dying on the cross. Right?
Come back and you got cooking breakfast
Your disciples are scattered.
after they
Like,
played him.
Right? Yeah, the disciples
fam,
are scattered. But the thing is, he knew. He already knew. He already knew they was gonna book.
Yo,
He
that's
already knew.
crazy, fam.
Why did they? Why did they run?
Who in existence would do that? Nobody.
And then comes down, shows up, and be like, "Hey, come on in. I got food cooking. Come sit."
Listen, I got some.
And this ain't this ain't your sleepy cousin making you some breakfast. This is Jesus. Holes in his hands and all. This is Jesus. Like, yo, come on over here.
Fam, what would you do
Get some of this breakfast
if you woke up one day and Jesus was cooking for you in your kitchen? You're like, what the?
Prepare my palate. I would prepare my palate. That's what I would do.
What's going on, Christopher?
It's like that Key
Come
and
on
Peele
in,
skit.
man. Have a seat.
It's like that Key and Peele skit.
Which one?
Yeah, where he was cooking. He's like, "Yes, chef."
Yeah.
He's like, "This should be eaten by higher life forms." I'd be like, "Yo, Jesus is cooking. Higher life forms have probably eaten this type of food before." Go ahead, Jesus, do your thing. I sit right there. I have my napkin tucked in. Shoot, I have a fork in one hand and a knife in the other hand. I'd be ready.
Fam, I don't know.
That's insane.
I think
Jesus is cooking breakfast
more.
for you,
I would do more talking.
Probably. He'd be like, come
than
on.
eating. He probably would have kept going, yo, go ahead, eat, man. It's getting cold. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute.
You're not even eating the food. You
yeah. Like, listen. I'm pretty sure. This omelet is fantastic. But listen, though, let me talk to you right quick.
He's like, your food's getting cold.
Your food's getting cold.
Oh yeah.
You take one bite, you go back to talking. Yeah, remember that one time?
It's like, but your food, man. Just eat. Relax, eat.
Listen, I'm here to cook for you. This is for you.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome. That is really awesome. And the wild thing is that we'll be able to do that one day. We'll be able to sit.
Fam, if I ever listen, if I ever get a chance,
you're going to. You're going to.
I'm gonna annoy him. I'm gonna annoy him.
You're going to be seated. You're going to be seated at a table with all the saints.
Listen, I'm gonna be.
And this is going to be a massive table. That has to be a massive table.
I can see him. He's like, "Yo, fam, can you give me 5 feet? Corona." My bad, yo. My bad. Listen. You just talk to me.
It's like, yo, you died on the cross for me. Yes,
you're not gonna go, yo. Why you avoiding?
You're like reminding him of things like you walked on water.
He's like, that
was me.
That was me. I was there.
Just annoying the crap out of him for no reason. Like, yo, you got them holes in your hands still? Yo, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's wild. That's crazy. He'll probably be like, look, here's the holes. Yes, I walked on water.
Every time I see him, thank me. I thank him.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, yo, I get it.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be the only one, fam. You're gonna be up there with a whole bunch of people, and we all gonna be doing the same thing. We all gonna be doing the same exact thing. And it's wild, man. Like I sit and think about Christianity, and I sit and think about our beliefs and all that kind of stuff. I think about it heavy. I think about, like, it's just the way my brain is. I think about the afterlife. I think about what'll happen when we get there, like who's gonna be there, the things we might see. And then my imagination tries to, like, create these images that I can't put together in my head. You know what I'm saying? And it's just anything that you could imagine is probably beyond, just like well beyond that.
Yeah.
I can't wait, but I can wait. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to get there, but I can wait to get there. Like I want to do some things. I want to accomplish some things. I want to get there, and I want Jesus to be like, "Yo, you did good. You did good. I gave you ideas, and good job."
I feel like he's gonna be like,
that's the thing that I'm learning.
I feel like he's gonna come in and be like, you could have done more,
Yeah,
but I appreciate you. But I still love
you're probably already gonna be feeling that anyway. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
Like,
Like, man, like, am I doing what
I
am
feel
I doing
that
the most
that
like that?
and
I
that's
could
the thing
do
that like
right now.
him coming to me be like, you should have done this, and like 5 hours later, this. Like,
Remember March
you're right.
25th, 1998? Yeah. What in the world were you thinking, bro? What were you thinking? Just walk me through your thoughts. I know you know.
I
Because
know
you're
you
up here
know,
now.
but
You
I
got
want
all
you
the
to
memories.
tell
You
me.
got all your
I want you
memories.
to
I want
say
you to
it.
say it out loud
Say
so we can
it.
discuss it. Discuss it with you. I want to discuss it with you.
All I
Oh
heard was
man.
disgusted. I'm disgusted with you.
Oh no, discuss it. But yo, for real, like, listen, if you're listening to the podcast today, we're kind of relaxed. The Lord did a lot of heavy lifting today.
Yeah, he did.
But we're kind of relaxed. We're kind of chill. But if you need that time with Christ and you wanna know who He is, ask us. Feel free to leave messages for us. Like, find the nearest Christian who's living that life and ask. Talk to somebody that you know who's Christian, who's really living that life and ask. I say really living that life because a lot of people, like, the world is full of Christians. There are a lot of people on this planet who profess to be Christians. But the way that you can tell somebody is Christian is by how they talk, how they conduct themselves. This is the fruit that they bear. And you'll see Jesus in their life first before you might, be able to catch Jesus in them. You know what I'm saying? So you'll see it in the fruits of what they do. And then, you encounter this person, you'll know that something is different. Because that's how people who are chasing after Christ live. Like, something's different in them. It's not just a shirt that they wear or a bumper sticker. Like, they, people put fishes on their car and all that kind of stuff. But we'll turn around and cuss you out in 7 different languages in traffic. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I mean. That's not what I'm saying. I mean people who are actively, like, daily pursuing Christ. Have a conversation with someone like that. If you know somebody like that, or go to a local church. Go to a local church and talk to, somebody who's in the church, one of the pastors, one of the deacons, the guy who holds the door open for everybody. If you want to really know some stuff and you want to really, really talk to somebody who goes through some stuff, talk to one of the greeters at a church, because they get all the attitude at the front door. You know what I'm saying? Especially on Sunday mornings, they catch everybody at, right as they're coming into church. So they know, who's got a smile on their face, who's not as happy. They get all of it, but they'll tell you, like, having conversations about Christ shouldn't be taboo. It shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be difficult. Like, if you're curious, I want you to know that there's places you can go. You can always ask us, either one of us. You know what I'm saying? There's always ways to find answers. If we don't have the answers, there's always ways to find them. And some things, maybe there aren't, maybe there aren't concrete answers. But what I do know and what I do have, I give to you freely. God is real. Jesus is risen. He paid the cost for us. And I can show you how. I can show you how to get closer to him. So with that, we're gonna mark this episode. Thank you for joining us on the Faded Podcast today. Remember, be grateful, be thankful. Take a moment of your day and just give thanks for that, because it is a huge, huge thing. It is a huge thing. As always, Isaiah 30:21. This is the way. Walk in it. We will see you guys later. Be good.
Peace.